Hello Buns, welcome back to Cinnabun Sundays, our weekly video series where we talk about all things bunny. And I am coming to you today because it is Cinnabun's 5th birthday. Technically her birthday was yesterday, Cinnabun's birthday is May 10th, but I figured that this video I could just talk about the fact that Cinnabun has just turned 5 and how much I have learned in the last 5 years of owning her, having this channel, and just I don't know, share that with you. I think that birthdays are a really beautiful time of reflection, and of course I'm talking about a rabbit's birthday here, but I've actually been thinking a lot just about my experience as a rabbit owner, my experience on YouTube, my experience like really learning about rabbits as a breed and how to care for them, and I thought that I could really just sit here and talk. I don't have anything written down, and we could just have like a nice heart-to-heart about these last 5 years of Cinnabun and things that I have learned that I would love to share with you. Now, of course, my experience is going to be very specific and personal to me. Every rabbit is different. I say that all the time, but I do think that there are certain things that everyone can take away from this. So sit back, grab a coffee. I have a smoothie here. I figured we could just chat. So in the last 5 years, I have gone from living in a 1-bedroom apartment in DC to moving to a house in Charlotte, North Carolina. My boyfriend Bryant and I got married. We are now husband and wife, and now I'm pregnant and we're expecting our first child. So a lot has changed, but in that 5 years, one thing that has stayed the same is we have had Cinnabun, and she has been our only pet, and she has kind of been like this very important feature of our lives and something that I have built my own personal life around. Cinnabun is the very first pet I ever owned by myself. I grew up on a farm. I grew up around animals, so I definitely had a lot of experience with animals, but Cinnabun is the very first pet that me as an adult took on and decided to be part of my family. And I feel like I have learned a lot. So probably the first thing that I have learned about rabbits is that they are a lot smarter than people think. I feel like that is kind of the overarching theme of this channel, but I am blown away every day by how intelligent Cinnabun really is. She has learned her schedule and her routine perfectly. She knows what time dinner is, she knows what time breakfast is, she knows where Bryant and I are throughout the day, she knows how to behave, she knows yes and no. Like when I first got her as a baby, she was chewing on everything, she was so naughty, but she learned soon that she's not allowed to do that, and now as a 5-year-old rabbit, she's rarely chewing on furniture. Like every once in a while she might like try her luck and take a little bite, but she knows she's not allowed to, and she doesn't because she knows right from wrong. She's very emotional. She's really tapped into me and Bryant and our moods, and it just blows my mind all the time how smart this little creature is and how much they are not appreciated for that. Like everybody thinks of like dogs as the smartest pet, which dogs are very, very smart, but I feel like people don't give rabbits enough space to grow and become intelligent. They don't give them the opportunity to be smart. And honestly, just by me free roaming Cinnabun and letting her just kind of exist alongside me and Bryant, I have seen how smart she has become and just seen her figure things out and figure out what's safe, what's good, what's bad, what she likes, what she doesn't like, what her routine is. And I think that that is just one of the most incredible things about rabbits that people just do not take into account, or people that get baby rabbits are like scared of because they have this baby rabbit that's like running wild and they don't know what to do. It gets easier. It's just a baby animal. Babies in general are stupid. They don't know anything about the world. Give them the opportunity to be smart and they will be smart. The next thing that I have learned over the last 5 years is rabbits are more adaptable than we give them credit for. Now, I have talked about this a lot. Actually, literally the last video I posted on this channel was me traveling. I talked about how traveling with a rabbit is not my favorite thing to do because they would rather stay home. But as a general sense, if you are smart about the way that you travel with your rabbit and you bring the things that they need, their creature comforts, things that make them feel comfortable, and you pay attention to their needs, they're going to adapt to whatever situation they're in. I was so scared when I first got Cinnabun that literally anything I did with her was gonna kill her because rabbits are so sensitive, which they are. But in reality, they're just very fearful and shy, but they're not just gonna keel over and die. They are survivors. They exist in the wild. They exist and they want to mold and adapt so that they can survive. Just because your rabbit is scared does not mean that they're going to die. Of course, if your rabbit is scared, there is a risk of them going into stasis, so you always want to monitor them and take care of them and just keep an eye on them. But I've traveled with Cinnabun a lot. We've moved with her. We've done a lot of things. We've like done repairs in our house. We've like switched out the floors. We've done a lot of changes. And I was so nervous about how Cinnabun would handle it. And every time she's nervous, but I sit with her, I comfort her, we treat everything else the same, and she gets through it. I used to, when I would go in the car with Cinnabun, literally pack like a bag of hay and a thing of water and all of these treats and literal critical care just for like a 30-minute car ride because I was so scared that she was just gonna go into shock and die. And now if I have to take her in the car, I'm just like, we put her in the carrier and we're like, okay, let's go. Because so much of her fear came from my stress. So that's something really big that I've learned, is that rabbits are more adaptable than we give them credit for. The next thing that I've learned is something that I talk about all the time on here, but I really want to specify, which is trust is earned and it is not given. And I think that rabbits are a beautiful teacher of that. A rabbit's first instinct is to be afraid of you as a human because they are prey animals, so they are always on alert. You cannot just get a rabbit and be like, okay, I'm your parent, I'm your owner, you love me now. They're gonna be terrified of you. You have to work hard every single day to earn their trust. And when I say every day, I mean every day. It took me months to get Cinnabun to really understand that I was her partner and that I loved her and that she loved me. Now she loves Bryant and I, we are her family, and she is very connected to us. But that is something that we had to work hard at and show her that we were not scary and that we could be trusted. And that is something that I think has really helped me in my like outside everyday world too. We so often just expect that people in our lives or kids, family, whatever, are just going to trust us just because we're like, yeah, we're trustworthy people, why wouldn't they? But in reality, trust is something that is earned. You don't just get given that. So by having Cinnabun, I've really learned to be patient with people, and I've really learned to pay attention to, I don't know, just like triggers and the way people are acting, and understanding that I need to respond to how people are reacting, and I just can't assume that everyone is thinking the same way I am. So that's something that personally has really helped me. I feel like it helps me read people better. I really feel like I understand everything Cinnabun is thinking now just because I've paid such close attention to her, and we have a really beautiful bond because of that. And just because Cinnabun is not the type of rabbit that I can just pick up and cuddle, she does not like to be held like that. She understands that me and Bryant are safe. We have so many different snuggle times, and she follows us around, and our relationship makes me so happy, and I hope that everybody is able to find that relationship with their pet and with people in their lives. The next thing I've learned is that less is more when it comes to rabbit care. When I first got Cinnabun, I bought so much stuff. I bought 1,000 chew toys. I bought so many carriers and just things, and when it comes down to it, you need to find the things that work for your rabbit, but once you find those things, you don't really need anything else. Like, I have Cinnabun's Hidey Hut, I have her litter box, her favorite specific toys, which are palm leaf bowls, and like certain different like hay chew toys, but that's really all that she needs to be happy. I know the food that she likes, I know the treats she likes, and I'm not really changing that out that often. I think that a lot of us really fall into overconsumption, and I definitely have like talked about a lot of different things that I've gotten on this channel. I like share a lot of different things, but I do that so that you do not fall into the overconsumption trap that I fell into when I got Cinnabun. The things that I share on this channel, I genuinely believe in, and I'm hoping that if I share them with you, you can kind of find your small select group of items and stick with that and not feel like you need to continue buying things for your rabbit. They are just happy to have their basic needs met, to have toys to play with, and to have you to keep them company. You do not need to buy them a new toy every single day. Just make sure that they have some things to chew on, make sure they have a place to hide and a place to go to the bathroom, and they're going to be happy. And the last thing that I've learned is more specific, but I was so afraid of GI Stasis as a new rabbit owner. It is the #1 thing that you hear about killing rabbits because it is one of the #1 killers of rabbits. So as a new rabbit owner, when you get a bunny, your biggest fear is your rabbit going into stasis and dying. And that happens a lot, unfortunately. And sometimes it is completely out of our control, and the best rabbit owner can see all the signs and things just happen. I say this like with a big but. That is something that very much can be treated early and be caught early if you are a very vigilant rabbit owner. Of course, there are always exceptions to that. There are some bunnies that things come on really quickly and there's nothing that you can do, but I was so scared that I was just gonna wake up one morning and Cinnabun was gonna be dead. I was so traumatized and scared of that. Like, I watched her like a hawk all of the time, and I remember the first time Cinnabun went into stasis, I was sobbing, I was terrified, and that obviously was making things worse because that's making her more stressed. If you pay close attention to your rabbit every day, you know how they act. It's hard to explain it because people are like, how do I know if my rabbit's in stasis? Like, I promise you, if you pay attention to your rabbit, you're going to know. Cinnabun has a very specific routine, and she's a pretty specific personality, and she sticks to that every day. If I notice that anything is off with Cinnabun, right away my alarm bells are ringing, and I'm usually able to get her to the vet, get her some medicine, and get her treated before things get worse. Every single stasis accident that Cinnabun has had has been cleared up within 24 hours because I have acted very, very quickly, seen the signs, and within 24 hours, she is back to normal. It is so scary and so traumatizing to lose a rabbit that way, and I do not want to minimize people who have lost rabbits that way, who are amazing pet parents, but I do want it to be known that every single time your rabbit refuses food, it is not a death sentence. It just means, okay, it's time to act, and it's time to act accordingly, give them their medicine. It's just like a person getting sick. Rabbits are gonna get sick. Things are gonna happen to them. Like, that's just how the world works, and it's up to you as a good rabbit owner to be vigilant and pay attention to them. And if you are so aware of their signs and how they behave, most of the time you will be able to get the treatment that you need. And just like with people, there are always extreme cases where you're not able to get that treatment in time. I just really want this to like be shared. I was so scared of stasis, like so scared of it before I got Cinnabun. Like, I truly thought the second that she refused food, she was going to die. Like, that is just like the way that I had interpreted GI stasis, when it is a much more complicated thing than that. There are a lot of things that can trigger it, there are a lot of things that can make it better, and a lot of things that can make it worse, and the most important thing for you is just to pay attention to your rabbit, understand them, and have a good rabbit savvy vet on call that you can go to anytime something is wrong. Just like you would for a person. If you are sick or you notice someone that you love is sick, you go to the doctor and you seek treatment. I feel like these last 5 years of having Cinnabun have just taught me so much about myself as an owner, so much about just like animals and relationships and people around me, and I think it's really beautiful that animals in our life can teach us so much if we are able to listen to them. So I hope that this video was interesting to you. It's just a little sit down and chat, nothing crazy, nothing serious, but I love to reflect on birthdays, and I truly cannot believe that my little bunny is already 5 years old, and hopefully she has a lot more birthdays to come to celebrate. But thank you so much for being here on this journey, whether you are just tuning in for the first time today or you have been with us for the last 5 years. We are so thankful to have you here, part of our community, and I hope that you all have a beautiful Sunday. Thanks so much for watching, Buns. Bye, Buns!